Extremely good measure, extremely good step by the Karnataka government, completely pro-poor. All of this, I'm saying it because I've read many articles on this, and of course, we can go on and on about what BJP did, what Janata Dal did. I'm not interested. All I'm saying is you have initiated it. Of course, there was a draft bill earlier also, but I'm not getting into ancient history of, when Kumaraswamy was chief. I'm talking about here and now. Very, very good step, Satya. But the point is, there is something endemic. There is some fault within the entire system. Don't you think you need to overhaul the rural distress situation in Karnataka? Otherwise, why would people borrow money at such high interest and then fail? 7 microfinancing companies, one woman has been, they've been baying for her blood. She borrowed from all of them, failed. Decided she should die by suicide. Satya Prakash, your opening comments on the debate.
Good evening, Sudha. First of
Hi.
all, I have to congratulate you. Thank you and your editorial team for bringing one good thing that this government has done. I have been in your show for the last 2 years. Most of the time, I end up being at the receiving end. But for I have to appreciate whenever you all do good things. See, it's very important that we all need to analyze why someone takes loan. Someone takes loan to empower himself to come out of a problem, or to empower himself to earn more. Any loan whatsoever which deteriorates the quality of life of that individual, the government has to act. It's as simple as that. And look at the rate of interest that these unregistered microfinance are charging. And look at the loan size. An average loan size, as you rightly said, is somewhere around 44,000. Microfinance is meant to give 10,000, 15,000 small amounts to those needy people, who can pay it back. There are instances where wife has run away from the husband. The husband has run away from the wife. The wife is gone and hiding inside the cupboard when these guys come. The main problem, Sudhaji, is these microfinance agencies use the people of that village, their own relatives, their own friends, to put pressure on these guys. And this social pressure on the family is taking the toll, where a lot of people are going, doing suicide. A lot of people are running away from this. See, look at what Bangladesh is. Earlier also we had self-help groups. It was very nice microfinance with very less rate of interest. The rate of interest of any microfinance company should be just 1 or 2% more than the normal lending rates. It cannot be exorbitant 20%, 25%.
30%,
Even the
Satya.
Dharmasthala microfinance, yeah,
30%, Satya. What is this?
this is ridiculous. How can someone pay 2.5 rupees interest, 2 rupees 75 paisa? You tell me.
Yeah, but don't
Even
you think? But yeah, that's right. And Satya, thank you so much for appreciating, me and the editorial team. That, let me tell you that the other parties say that I am always on your side. So this is, I'm like, someone who's made a sandwich by both of you.
I'm always at the
And I didn't
and I
want to
suppose it
bring,
will
I
come to
don't
your
want
show.
this debate to be political. It's about poor people, Satya.
Absolutely.
We are all
Absolutely.
for the marginalized. I am sitting in a privileged
Absolutely.
air conditioned studio. They don't have any capital, they no agency they have. Let me come back to you because I'll repeat the question, but let me also welcome Dr. Yamini Agarwal into the show. Dr. Agarwal, what a pleasure to have you on the show. Dr. Agarwal, what do you think of this step which is being taken? I want to ask you some other questions, but as of now, I think Karnataka is going to show the mirror to a lot of other states to say, an ordinance, be strict. You cannot possibly, I can't put a board and say Sudha Microfinancing Company and ask people to come take loans. Credentials. Are you registered? What about police complaint? Register yourself again after 60 days. Do you think that this is enough and more to see that poor people are not trapped by these loan sharks? Dr. Agarwal.
Well, I think one needs to first of all understand, does the Karnataka government really have the authority to make any regulations in the financial sector, especially for the MFIs? The MFIs come under the RBI regulations, and as per the RBI regulations, all money markets and capital markets come under that regulation, capital markets by SEBI. Now, when I talk about MFIs can register themselves with a net own fund of 5 crores with the RBI, and in case they're in the northeastern region, with the 2 crore rupees. Now, again, another important aspect is the recognition of the MFI is anything less than 3 lakh of rupees loan given without any collateral that is attached, even a saver's or a borrower's account which is there. Now, what's important to understand is that when MFIs give out these loans, they are registered as a company and they can further register themselves as MFIs. So, if any regulation has to be brought about in the MFI, whether it is with respect to loans or seeking the borrower accounts and getting the money back, it has to be done by the RBI and not by
Well,
state
yeah, I
governments per se.
understand. I understand that it is
Another
under.
important aspect over here is that when you talk about financial distress, which is causing people to take
Yes.
steps which are not, which are not should not be a part of the society, we need to understand that financial distress can happen in any circumstances, not only in MFIs but in others.
No, I'm not
Many
saying
times
that.
in the
Dr.
MFIs,
Agarwal, Dr. Agarwal, I'm not suggesting that. Maybe I didn't say it properly. I'm saying if overhauling of the rural distress, if we kind of mitigate it in some way or the other, then why would a person like Satya Prakash ji said, go to a microfinancing company and borrow money at 30% ridiculous amount of interest? You and I will not
I'll
do.
give you this example. Usually what used to be said about money lenders was that if you want the money and you have nothing to offer
Yeah,
in terms of a collateral or a paper
right.
or any security in future, they will give you the money on your face value, which is one important thing which is not available. They were loans given to people to conduct last rites or the marriages of their daughters or to send off certain children to a particular travel destination or for medical circumstances which a person needs. And these a lot of times are not available through banks or other registered institutions who demand a certain
So,
amount of a
yeah,
paper
right. So,
or
which means,
other work.
yeah, but then the money lenders, I mean, I don't want to get into ancient history, but one of the reasons that we had regularized finance, agencies like a bank or other is so that the money lending is kind of thrown out of the system
But
and
give
you
me
empower.
one
Let me come,
example.
Dr. Agarwal, I have to go to Satya Prakash ji also. Satya Prakash, Dr. Agarwal says you don't have the jurisdiction. Would you like to counter her on this? Because I think if a crime, because I think dying by suicide is a crime. Dying by suicide is not a tragedy. If I look at it from the prism of law and order, it's a crime. The onus falls on the state. If 10 women, I've got statistics, someone sent a Mangal Sutra to G. Parameshwara, in an envelope. There are deaths which are happened in Ballari, in Devangere. What happens then? Is this a center state issue at all, Satya?
Agarwal is right when she says that the authority who gives registration to these agencies, MFI, is RBI. There's no doubt on that. But the state has jurisdiction over them because it's a law and order problem. Tomorrow, just because RBI gives licenses, a bank goes and does something nonsense in the state, which creates a law and order situation, which creates quality of life. Being people are dying. Any loan
There
you
are
give should increase his quality of life. It should not result in his suicide.
Yeah,
It
but
should
that
not,
is, yeah, very
there
well
are
said.
criminal
Satya
laws to
Prakash,
that
Dr.
effect
Agarwal,
by
please
the
wait.
IPC.
Dr. Agarwal, I'll ask you
thank
to
you.
come in, ma'am.
I'm sorry.
Satya Prakash, I completely
See,
concur. But
Agarwal,
then who will
Agarwal,
do it? The onus, the improving the quality of those who have no social agency, no financial agency. Who's going to do that? The onus is on you as the government, no, Satya? So
yeah,
that
that's what
this,
I'm saying. That is where I'm saying that on one side, Krishna Bairagowda is very clear. He said RBI also should act on bring some more regulations. What is the rate of interest you are going to charge? Has RBI given any guidelines for them? 30%, 2 rupees 75 paisa rate of interest per month. You tell me
right.
whether these guys who are unorganized sector, first of all, they're in distress. They're going to use this money for, health or something like that. And if they don't pay, you are going to take their, cow away. You're going to take their Mangal Sutra. You're going to push them out of the house. What is it going to deliver?
And
Instead of that, you
also,
don't give money to them.
also Satya
What Mr.
Prakash,
Siddaramaiah has
Satya,
said,
yeah,
how
yeah.
can you give money to a guy 10 times, 15 times than what he can pay.
Also, are they checking the credentials of the person who's borrowing the money? It's okay, you give me at face value. But what about credentials? You don't leave them when you come looking for installments or repayment. You come there
What
and
they
you.
are doing, I will tell you. What they are doing, Sudha, I will explain to you. For example, Satya Prakash is there. Another Ramanna is there. Satya Prakash money will get stuck because I have put, I have come in between. So since they put pressure on me, I go and sit in front of Ramanna's house. You understand the problem?
Yes,
So this is the problem how these microfinance agencies work. There is a social pressure on them. This social pressure, puts the guy off. He
Right.
goes to take the extreme step like suicide, etc.
All right. Dr. Agarwal, do come in, please.
Well, I think when you talk about law and order as per se, there is a full IPC for that, and there are laws which define the jurisdiction of what a company can do under the Companies Act, for which the MFIs are supposed to be registered, and there is a criminal laws much in place if somebody commits suicide because of someone else, which can be taken to the court at any given point of time. So there are much existing laws in place for any extortion, any harassment, or even any forceful action that can coerce somebody to act in any adverse manner.